So tomorrow is a big day. So two questions. I think first, Sophiko, can you just again start by laying out what will happen, what might happen tomorrow?
Okay, what will happen? I think, like we all know, that the new president of Georgia will be elected tomorrow. It will be 53-year-old football player, former football player, Mikhail Pavelashvili, who was the MP since 2016 under the Georgian Dream Ticket. He is the guy who then has established the political movement, the power of people, right? I think, yeah. And this movement was one of the authors of this Russian law. And he is his rhetoric is very anti-Western. We have heard him, seen him cursing and using explicit, not the very polite language inside the parliament. This choice it came as a shock to everyone, as a surprise to everyone, and I'm sure it was a surprise to the members of the Georgian Dream Party also. We don't know why he was selected to become the president. And it is the first time that the Georgia is not electing the president by direct vote, but it will be electoral college, which consists of 300 people, including the MPs and other representatives who will elect the president. The opposition is boycotting the parliament sessions, and they said that they will not participate into this election process, but they will participate or not. The election will go ahead, and tomorrow they will elect the new president, whose inauguration is set for 29th of December. But at the same time, the current Georgian president, Salome Zurabishvili, said that she is not recognizing the power of as well as the opposition. They are not recognizing the legitimacy of the parliament, and any decision that the parliament is making is illegitimate. And Salome Zurabishvili said that she is the only legitimate power within the country. So what will happen next after 29th of December? It is very interesting.
What are your respective coverage plans for this? Like, what are you preparing for? What do you expect to see? Daro, maybe you could take this first. What do you expect tomorrow to look like for you?
I'm expecting it's going to get a bit chaotic outside during the protest. I think. I don't know yet what will happen, but I think many people will arrive early in the morning because it's at 9:00 a.m. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's and I think I think they chose this person, Mikhail Pavelashvili, because maybe he will be easy to control and he'll be like a puppet. So I think it's to look at it this way, why they chose him and not like a different like a person like Salome's with that kind of a CV and education and so on and so on. So I think tomorrow will be a little bit chaotic outside, if I'm predicting it right, but I don't know exactly what will happen.
Will, how about you? What are your coverage plans for tomorrow?
Well, first, one thing is I would say only one man selected this president. He came in, he said who it was going to be. And as I know, some people started arguing, and he said, no, this is it. So Ivanishvili made that decision. Only one person decided it, and the electoral college will vote that way. So he will be the new president, and yes, they think he'll be a puppet. They have a history of picking presidents that they back who then turn on them, and the last two have done that. I'm including Zurabishvili, who has become kind of almost a folk hero now. And no one would have expected this a year ago. It's remarkable what she's done. And it's not just her saying she's the only legitimate, sort of authority figure. It's all of the opposition, all the people in the streets, they're looking to her. So when they sort of, it's not an inauguration tomorrow. They're officially appointing him as a candidate. And then on the 29th, he'll be inaugurated. So that means that technically Zurabishvili has to be out of the presidential residence and be out as a president. And she has said she's not leaving. Now, whether she means that in a spatial way exactly, we aren't sure. But my prediction is that it means that, and that there is a chance that she might just stay right where she is. She has said that the parliament is illegitimate, that this president will be illegitimate, and and she has, let's say, legal grounds to claim this based on, all of these irregularities in the election. And so I think there's a chance that all the protesters, there will be some nearly 100,000 people out there tomorrow. And I think a good amount of those people are going to line up in front of her residence and make sure that they cannot drag her out. And that could culminate in something, that would be extreme. But it also could be a moment for Georgia in which, it shows a certain amount of defiance and that the government can't remove her. Does not have the power to. It could also go the other way and violence could occur. But I fear that is the scenario that it seems like the last 15 days have been building up to that.
I have corrective information. They're cutting protection from the state for Salome for a year. And they also cut the heating in the presidential residency. So she has heating for 2 rooms with the plug-in heater or something like that, as I know correctly.
Wow.
If I have the correct information.
Yep, and that sets the stage all the more because if you turn off the heating on her, she will be more likely to stay. And that's what I love about Georgians and her especially. The first night when these protests began, there was an image of her. She came out with her security guarding her, walked up to the riot police and started tapping on their shields and says, "Who do you serve? Georgia or Russia? To whom are you sworn? You swore an oath. Who did you swear that oath to? You swore to me, the president. Who do you serve?" And just walked along, almost like a grandmother scolding these guys who were hiding behind masks and were, mortified. And also the idea that her security was potentially having to protect her from riot police. It was an absurd image, but I think it sort of set the stage for what's happening. And she knows that. And so I think, by, cutting the power or removing her security, I mean, if you have 10,000 people outside of her residence, I don't think she doesn't need security. And I laugh when I say that, but that's kind of what I fear is that the protesters who are out there will essentially become her security. And that's a situation that could go 2 different ways, but it feels like it's building up to that.